That is Saturday qualifying. Well, that's what it'd usually be. Today it is Friday, and the Friday qualifying and practice session has been concluded. There's been a lot of changes today. A lot of things have gone on in Formula 2, in F1 Academy, and we're going to talk about it all in this video, so make sure you stick around to the very end. So to start off with, we're going to talk about practice 3. Now, it was reported earlier in the day that Carlos Sainz had been diagnosed with appendicitis, and he'd gone to a nearby hospital to have surgery. So I'm assuming he's had his appendix removed, but obviously none of those details have been confirmed. But now he is out of surgery and he is okay. Fred Vasseur spoke to Sky F1 just before qualifying began. As a result of that, you probably saw my video earlier today. Oliver Bearman stepped up from Formula 2 into the Ferrari for free practice 3 and the qualifying and race for tomorrow. That means he had to vacate pole position from Formula 2, which it loses him some points in the Formula 2 Championship, but you cannot turn down the opportunity to be the first British driver in the Scarlet Red of Ferrari in 25 years. If you want to hear more about that and everything that went off, make sure you check the video. It'll be finally some decent on-track action to talk about with Oliver Bearman. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 300 subscribers by the end of April, and I'm sure that you can help me to do it. So hit that red button down below or in this top corner up here, and I'll catch you in the end of the video. Previous video I posted, so if you check my channel, it'll be that previous video. I'll try and link it on the screen at some point, so make sure you check that out. But obviously Bearman was getting up to speed in practice 3 and in qualifying, and I thought he did an excellent job. We'll get into his qualifying performance later on. Gasly and Stroll, there was some impeding going on in the practice session. I don't think we've heard any more about that as of yet, but Lewis Hamilton got a £15,000 fine, I believe. It might have been 12.5, something around that, for a similar incident yesterday. So it wouldn't surprise me if it ends up being no investigation, because they're different circumstances. I think with impeding situations, it changes based on the corner, the track, the approaching speeds and all that. So obviously Guanyu Zhou had a big smash late on in free practice 3. I think there was about 15 minutes to go. Brought out the red flag. Obviously that limited Ollie Bearman's learning in the Ferrari, but it then led to a big kick in the teeth, really, for the Sauber, the Stake F1 team, and they were unable. This is going to be the move into qualifying, because they were unable to get the car ready in time for him to set a lap. That means that he'll start tomorrow in 20th place. He did get out on the track, but he just wasn't able to get around quick enough to even put a lap on the board. I think he was the first one that crossed the line, which obviously puts him P20 with no time. Again, we're going to have a bit more further chat about Alpine. They've announced a big, massive restructure over the past week, but obviously that doesn't change performance instantly. Both of them were out in Q1. Esteban Ocon ahead of Pierre Gasly again this weekend in qualifying. So it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with the race. We know they have a few problems. They're still overweight, I believe, and they've got a few aerodynamic issues, but we'll see what happens with them. As you know, Guanyu Zhou didn't get out. Bottas and Sargent joined both the Alpines at the end of Q1 in not making it to Q2, and they were out. I'll put the final leaderboard on screen once I've got through all the qualifying talk, so you can see where everybody lines up tomorrow, given that there's no post-qualifying penalties or anything like that. So going into qualifying 2, Nico Hülkenberg and Kevin Magnussen, both Haas's got into qualifying 2. They tried a tow for Hülkenberg's first lap, but during that lap he lost power. Obviously massively disappointing for him. We never got to see how influential the tow could be, and he ended up obviously qualifying right at the bottom of Q2 in P15, but we'll see how they make up for it in the race. They looked really good in Bahrain in comparison to what people expected, so we'll see what they can do from here. Albon, Magnussen, Daniel Ricciardo and Bearman joined them. Ollie Bearman, I think, did an absolutely amazing qualifying session. He was 0.36 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton, nearly just an inch away from qualifying 3, but that's just the comings and goings of Formula One. If it was Carlos Sainz, it would be Lewis Hamilton in P11, in my opinion, with the understanding of the car and understanding of the track. That is my opinion. But we're now going to go into qualifying 3. Hamilton continues to struggle in that Mercedes car. I think I mentioned in the video yesterday, Mercedes had a lack of rear end, and this is an issue that's plagued them over the past 2 years, heading into this one, now 3. And I think it's massively important that Lewis just gets through this season unscathed, because for me, I think they should have made this Ferrari move for 2024. I think they should have found a way to make it work, but they haven't. So we're going to have to watch the struggle bus of Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. George Russell again out-qualifies him in P7. Lewis Hamilton P8. Obviously disappointing. Lance Stroll put it into P10. Yuki Tsunoda out-qualifying Daniel Ricciardo. And Daniel Ricciardo, if he wants that second Red Bull seat, has got to perform a lot better than he's performing right now. But how is that going to happen? I don't know. We'll see how the race ends tomorrow. Fernando Alonso put it into P4. Massively impressive result for him. Oscar Piastri out-qualified Lando Norris. He was in P5. Lando Norris in P6. Leclerc put it in P2 with it was a bit of a scruffy lap, I think he'll say himself, but he was 3/10 behind Max Verstappen, who takes another pole. Sergio Perez in P3. Now, it's not... I watched Formula 2 earlier today. Kimi Antonelli had a poor start, but was able to turn it around, and I believe he ended up finishing P6 in the end. Zane Maloney started P16 and ended up finishing P5. Now, and that grid is incredibly tight, and I'm not saying I wish Formula 1 was a spec series, but I wish we had tight racing like that with DRS, the ERS management system, and I just wish we could have that close racing. There was one point where I think the top 11 were all within 5 or 6 seconds of each other in that Formula 2 race, and that's what I wish we had in Formula 1. But we'll see how tomorrow ends. I'm expecting Max Verstappen to fly away. Let's see what happens with George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Obviously, Lewis will be looking to get back on level terms in the head-to-head for race day. But is that going to happen? Who knows? I'm really interested to see how good Oliver Bearman is tomorrow in the race. It's obviously going to be a massive struggle for him. Jumping into the car, completely different Gs. The laps alone in qualifying are about 12 seconds quicker than the Formula 2 cars. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles the pressure of driving that Ferrari. Let's see if he can pick up some points. I do think the possibility is there for him, especially with the racing balls of Yuki Tsunoda further up the road. But now to get into a few off-track matters. Audi have announced that they now plan to take a full 100% stake of the Sauber team that is currently called Stake Formula 1. It was previously reported that stake that they would take would be 75%, but they're now taking 100% stake in Stake Formula 1 team. So we'll see how that lasts. I believe that will all go through heading into the 2026 season, but I'm not sure if agreeing to this 100% gives them more decision-making capacity now. We'll have to see what happens with that. And we have another development in the Red Bull Christian Horner case. Obviously, we know there was some leaks last week. Helmut Marko, Jos Verstappen have all made lots of comments. And today, Helmut Marko has made some comments talking about potentially being suspended by the Red Bull organisation. I'll put it up on screen while I'm talking now so that you can have a read through it. Now, is he the leak? Is he the one that leaked the text messages on the Google Drive? He would have access to all the email addresses that was necessary. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Do I think he's going to get suspended? I don't know, really. I would be very surprised, but if he turns out to be the leak, then I wouldn't be surprised. What is going to be important is to see how they cope with this over the next few days, how it is assessed, because that coming out could be massively important to the future of the Red Bull team and the future of Max Verstappen, because as I mentioned in a previous video, Max Verstappen does have a contract clause which links to Helmut Marko. If Marko was to leave, then Max is available to anybody essentially. So it's going to be interesting to see how Red Bull handle this case, and if Verstappen ends up signing a new deal potentially to sort of take that clause out or link him to someone else in the team. But we'll see what happens with that. I'm trying to focus on-track matters, but obviously the off-track stuff is quite important. It links to everything that's going on track. Hopefully we can see an improvement from the Mercedes tomorrow. The McLarens shine brightest, and let's see what happens in the race for the Ferrari of Oliver Bearman. If you are ready for that, make sure you hit that subscribe button to catch my full race review tomorrow, and hit that subscribe button. Just make sure you hit it. I don't care, just hit that button. And make sure you like the video and share it with all your friends, and I'll catch you in the next one. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.